Welcome to today's conversation, where we dive into the intriguing theme from that video: the old world is dying, the new world struggles to be born.
I'm really excited to talk about this. It seems like the video draws a sharp line between the 1990s optimism and our current era of chaos and decay, right?
Exactly. It paints this picture of the old order crumbling, and it's like the emerging world trying to find its footing.
Yeah,
One of the
definitely.
key things is how major powers are adjusting to these rapid changes.
Yep, it's fascinating. I mean, Chaz Freeman, with that impressive background, former US Assistant Secretary of Defense, ambassador to Saudi Arabia, all those roles, really gives weight to his perspective.
Absolutely. His credentials are pretty significant. He was deeply involved in shaping post Cold War security, especially that NATO centered system in Europe, and also rebuilding defense relations with China. That tells you he's seen a ton of transformation firsthand.
Right, and it's interesting how he contrasts the positivity of the 90s with what we're seeing now. I mean, how do you think that shift happened so drastically?
Well, it's like, if you think about it, back then there was this collective optimism about globalization and peace after the Cold War. But now, major powers are grappling with internal decay, societal unrest, and the unanticipated challenges of digital and economic transformations.
Yeah, that's spot on. I agree. There's a real sense, almost like a collapse of the established order. But don't you think it's a bit overdramatic to say the old world is dying? Aren't there still elements of stability in some parts of it?
That's a valid point, but I think what Freeman is really aiming at is the thematic shift rather than a total collapse. It's more about the erosion of previous
Right,
dynamics.
exactly.
Even though structures remain, the underlying assumptions have drastically shifted.
True, it's like a slow motion revolution rather than an abrupt break. The video really pushes us to consider how historical legacies shape current policies.
Completely. And there's another interesting angle: his discussion on how major powers adjust. He brings up how the old alliances and security architectures, like NATO post Cold War, are showing signs of strain in today's multipolar world.
Yeah, and it's not just about shifting alliances, but also about the struggle for a new global order. With rising powers like China, the old paradigms are being challenged pretty aggressively.
Exactly. And what I found particularly engaging, almost thought provoking, is his point on the complexities of nation building in this new challenge. It's like you have a world transitioning from one identity to another, and the leaders are trying to rebalance power structures.
Yes, I get it. Right, it's an uncertain process. Another layer is the media narrative, you know? The video, with its auto-dubbed tracks and social media metrics, reminds us of how global discourse is mediated and influenced by technology.
Yes, indeed. The whole modern digital broadcasting approach, where even auto dubbed audio tracks are used, reveals a lot about how information flows in our current era.
That's true.
It shapes our perception of events, adding to the whole new world struggle atmosphere.
And on that note, I'm reminded of how the evolving digital landscape complicates communication. It sometimes feels like there's an inherent tension between the fragmentation of media and the need for cohesive historic narratives.
Absolutely, it's like a tug of war. The past legacy we have, with all its achievements in statecraft, is being challenged by the modern environment that's more chaotic, decentralized, and less reliable in offering a clear narrative.
Yep, spot on. I also noticed that the video touches on how, despite this decay, there are still structures trying to rebuild a stable order. Do you think the new world has a chance to get it right?
Well, that's the $1 million question. It's like there's this inherent struggle. The old world systems are failing, but the new ones are still working out the kinks. It's a tough transitional period, and history suggests such transitions are
I see
never
what you
smooth.
mean. Yeah, transitions often come with growing pains. But I have to wonder, doesn't this kind of analysis risk oversimplifying complex geopolitical processes?
That's a fair challenge. Freeman's narrative, while compelling, is indeed broad brushed. It can seem overly dramatic, but I think its strength lies in drawing out the tension between old certainties and the uncertainties of today's global order.
Right, I get that. True. And that tension is something everyone can relate to right now, politically, economically, even socially. It's almost like any major breakthrough carries along a period of chaos before a new equilibrium is achieved.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important to note that Freeman's insights come with a wealth of practical experience. I mean, having been directly involved in mediating crises and reshaping security frameworks, his take brings a pragmatic edge to what might otherwise sound like doom mongering.
That's definitely a key factor. And when you think about it, his discussion also warns us about the perils of sentimentality, a kind of nostalgia for the past that might blind us to current issues.
Right, it's like a wake up call. He notes that while reminiscing about the 90s might provide comfort, it doesn't solve the challenges we face today. We
Yeah,
need to
exactly.
embrace the unpredictability of the present to forge a better future.
And that unpredictability is exactly what makes geopolitics so fascinating. I mean, predictable systems are like boring, right? But once they start breaking down, well, there's room for innovation and even reform if handled wisely.
Absolutely, it's like going through a metamorphosis. The old form may be decaying, but that process clears the way for a new, sometimes more resilient structure.
That's an
Though I do
interesting way to
wonder
put it.
if we see enough practical steps from these powers towards building that new order.
Yeah, exactly. There's a real risk that while the theoretical discussion is engaging, it might not translate to effective policy changes on the ground.
That's a valid critique, and I think it invites us to question the balance between rhetoric and action. Freeman's background, with all those high level achievements, suggests he understands practical hurdles, yet his analysis sometimes leans into, a kind of sweeping existential view.
True. And maybe that's what makes the discussion so provocative. It challenges the listener to not only question the old systems, but also to critically evaluate the emerging ones.
Exactly. And another intriguing element is how the video uses its format, like auto-dubbed languages and digital presentation, to reach a global audience. It's a reminder that in today's world, the medium and the message are inextricably linked.
Indeed. So, would you say that the video ultimately leaves us with a sense of inevitability about the transformation? Or does it offer any hope for gradual renewal?
I'd lean towards inevitability mixed with hope. It's like, the old world is indeed ending, but the emergence of a new order, however uncertain, holds the promise of addressing past deficiencies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The challenge is coping with the transition period without getting paralyzed by uncertainty.
Absolutely. And that transition involves not just, structural shifts, but also a massive cultural and, dare I say, philosophical shift. It's about redefining what stability and success mean in a changing world.
Yes, it's a transformation on multiple levels: political, economic, even ideological. The video, by focusing on figures like Freeman, who played a role in such transformations, encourages us to critically assess how legacy systems are both built and unbuilt.
Really thought provoking. And I love that it forces us to confront our own assumptions about progress. I mean, if the old certainties are no longer valid, what new certainties should we be building on?
Exactly. It's a call for forward thinking, even if that future is uncertain. It challenges us to reimagine power structures and to not cling to outdated models simply because they offer comfort.
Right, absolutely. I think that's the crux of the matter. The need to embrace innovation amid disruption. And while there's risk, there's also hopefully a path for intelligent, adaptive governance in the new order.
Yes, intelligent adaptation is key here, and we can draw analogies from nature. A species' survival isn't about clinging to old ways, but about evolving for new challenges. In that sense,
you're so
the
right.
current geopolitical shift is like natural selection on a grand scale.
That's an awesome analogy. And it brings us full circle, from the demise of an old promise to the tough, uncertain birth of a new world. This discussion is as much more than just historical commentary. It's a lens on our own future.
Couldn't agree more. It's a dynamic, pulse-pounding era we live in, one that demands both critical reflection and bold innovation. Thanks for this engaging chat. It's been a real eye-opener.
Absolutely. Thanks for the deep dive. Until next time, keep questioning and exploring these transformative ideas.